Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Saturday edition of Something Live. Of course, we're unboxing a figure this morning. Let's see if we can get this camera in a good position here. What's that give me? That much? Let's do a little more. I am having difficulty with my computer, obviously. I literally prepare for this an hour before. I'm here an hour getting all this set up, turning the computer on, getting it ready, just for it to pull some stupid stuff like it does every day. So I'm never just like coming in here right at 7 o'clock and trying to get everything going on. I'm ready, really trying to do this proper. Just wish everything would cooperate the way it's supposed to. So this what we're doing today is Hawkeye from Avengers Endgame. Now they did two versions of him. The deluxe version, which allowed you to build Ronin, and so that's what I received first a few weeks ago or a month or so ago. I don't remember now. And so I built him. And truthfully, in my opinion, looking at this, even though he wasn't in Infinity War, because the actor, gosh darn it, the heck is his name? He had injured his arm, I guess, filming that movie. I think it was Tag that he was filming in, that he injured himself, which didn't allow him to be able to film for Infinity War, is why he wasn't in Infinity War. So he was in Avengers Endgame. And so, in a sense, I plan to more or less pose this character with the Infinity War group when I decide to start separating them all into here's Infinity War, here's Avengers, whatever. Uh, in the meantime, he's posed up with the Avengers and will continue to be there on just the entire Avengers shelf, which is anybody that ever was or participated in or helped out, more or less, the Avengers, Reserve Avengers, what they sometimes were called in the comics, up there. And the new one, the Hawkeye, I will put with Black Widow down here with the red ghost, the soul ghost, the red skull is the intent. And that's how I plan on posing them currently, as far as that goes. So, good morning, good day, good afternoon, hello, and welcome to Saturday. Jake, how you doing, man? Toy Mafia, welcome. NKSG, been a long time. How you doing, man? C'est mon maison. CBS Sci-Fi. Sorry, Gupta, how you doing? Siddharth Gupta, you bet, man. I will. Siddharth Gupta. Welcome, Siddharth Gupta. Hi, wow. The YT notification on time today. Yay! YouTube, man, I don't get it. Sometimes it just does the craziest stuff. I think it's so interesting where I will get a notification. Well, not a notification, but a recommendation to see a video that's like 9 years old. I'm like, how in the world is there? I don't understand how it all works anymore. I mean, you think you do, you think you know what's going on, and then they change the rules. So, um, that's how that goes. Oh, and by the way, I just want to say my personal opinion, hate him or love him, I wish President Donald Trump, to recover from COVID-19. I think anybody that wishes death on him, there's something very wrong with you. He's currently in the hospital from COVID. He's infected with COVID, and I wish him well. And I think anybody that wishes ill on somebody, there's something really wrong with you. If you take joy in somebody else's demise or pain or suffering or death. So, love him or hate him, no matter what your political belief is. I pray that you're mature enough to hope that he doesn't die and that he recovers well. I just wanted to say that. So this is the non-deluxe version. So this will be building Hawkeye only. And when I unboxed this a few weeks back, however long ago it was, I steered clear of setting them up as Hawkeye specifically because I knew this one was coming. I ordered them both on the same day. It came from, you know, two totally different time frames in regards to being shipped to me, which is insane. I don't even understand all that anymore either. But I knew that I had Hawkeye coming, so I didn't put any of the Hawkeye stuff on him at all. I didn't go over the arrows, the bow, or anything. So we'll be going over that on this one here. And I don't remember whether the box is the same, if it looks different. I really don't. I'm sorry. And these are actually, you know, you could call this a shadow box. Should you ever decide you wanted to pose your figures, you could take them out of this inside area and you don't have a display case. You can literally put them back in on their little stand inside this box and use this as a display box of him posed up on his display stand in here. Should you ever desire to do that. I've never seen anybody do that, but that's the benefit of the design of this type of a box. You can do that. You can put it's a dust-proof environment at that point, well, dust-resistant environment at that point to display your figures. If you don't have any type of a display box whatsoever and you want to keep them from getting dirty and dusty, and you have the room to do it. What's the buzzing sound? If you're hearing buzzing sound, that's my computer winding up. Little cheap ass Toshiba laptop. Never buy a Toshiba again. I don't even know if they're still even in business. Cast and crew responsible for the figure. Louis Vega, how's it going, man? Going good. Good Saturday morning. For me, you're probably 9 hours ahead of me, I guess, right? Is that where you are in England, in the UK? Thanos, Guardians of the Galaxy Thanos. So you got the one on the throne. Cool. This black shelving over here? No, this is, you're talking about this over here? This black shelving, my wife's dad built, I don't even know how long ago, long time ago, decades ago, as a bookshelf. And this is where I originally had put all my figures. I've rearranged, if you've followed me for years, you've seen my figures move all over this house in posed in different places and different setups and constantly growing and whatever else. And so this has now been scooted forward. That's been scooted that way. Those have been put into the corner more, and I've added these two Detolf cabinets here, which also have black on. They're available in black and white, I think, are the two different colors. And they didn't have any white because I had white. And so I bought the black, and I like the black, I guess, now. So going forward, I will continue to buy the black ones, I guess. But that's what I got going on. So if you're talking about the black shelving, if you're talking about that's been around forever, and I've had them displayed on this for a long time. The bad thing about a bookshelf, a bookcase, is that its depth is designed for books. So it's only like 11 inches or something on that line. Whereas I think these are 13 or something. Where's my tape measure so I can tell you exactly what it is? You ever seen a bookshelf in a display case? 9.5 inches is the depth of a bookshelf. And this is 11 inches over here on these larger bookshelves. And then the Detolf, the depth on it is about 13. So, you know, that adds to the ability of being able to position figures, pose figures, and the amount of figures you can put on a certain place is all that. So that's what that is, a custom-made bookshelf by my father-in-law. Passed away many years ago. So that's what that is. One thing I don't like is whenever they make these separate, where it's, I mean, when they don't make it separate, where they put it into the casting of this bottom case. I mean, it would be nice to be able to display it or store it in a, what I'm saying is, I enjoy it when they do this to it. And you can put all this stuff in it and store it as such. Especially if you're one of these guys that like to sell these groups. You can just package this up, stick it in a box and sell it on eBay or whatever if somebody wanted the bows and arrows or whatever. And so it always bothers me when they built it into the entire case here, and instead of making it separate like this is. So this is separate, but his bows and arrows are not. And it eats at me. His hands also are not separate. So what I'm going to do, also, I'm going to compare these arrowheads to the Age of Ultron. Where's he at? Hawkeye. I think he's in the other room. Let me go grab him real quick. Make sure he's not in here. I'll be right back. Talked about this a couple of times. What I've done here with this quiver on the Age of Ultron Hawkeye is I bought an additional set just of his arrows and such to be able to well, actually, okay. So the reason I bought the additional set was because the arrow that I had displayed on his bow one day fell off of the bow. And what I like to do is I like to put just a little bit of Elmer's glue, a little white school glue. I forget the actual the name that you guys would be able to find it on as, just to hold something in place. You know what I mean? Now, Elmer's glue doesn't dissolve anything. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just white glue, and it dries clear, and you can't even see it. And it'll keep something there for a long time. If you're just temporarily holding it, it doesn't melt anything. It doesn't discolor anything. It's not hot. It's just a regular old glue, and it can be knocked clean off and doesn't take any paint off of it or anything. So anyhow, something happened. I lost the arrow that I had on display here. And I mean, it's gone. I've totally tore the room up. It is nowhere. And this was years ago. So when the figure was new, people were still parting him out. So I bought an entire set of arrows, kind of like what I was complaining about here, just to be able to have that arrowhead back that I had lost when it fell off of there. What that gave me was a unique opportunity to be able to literally fill this quiver up. So normally whenever I pose Age of Ultron Hawkeye, I like to pose him backwards, show off this quiver, which is absolutely just cram-packed, stuffed full of arrows. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the arrowheads that came with this with the new one to see if there's any different arrowheads that they provided. I'm going to guess there's not. Kind of like with the Spider-Man webbing. The webbing for the most part is the same webbing they provided from the beginning with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man figures that Hot Toys made. With the exception of the new, and I say new, it's been out now for maybe a year or so, the what I like to refer to as the Todd McFarlane webbing, which has the double loop that goes around the hand, which is cool. That's the only real addition or change that there's been on the webbing from all the way back to the first Tobey Maguire style Spider-Man suits that they were making. So we're going to discuss that as well. Spider-Man 2099 in last night, and it is awesome. I got mine a couple of days ago. Of course, I've not unboxed him. I scheduled him to be unboxed, I think, on the 24th of October is the plan. Don't know how far this was supposed to be up. It just slid straight down. Little piece here. I'm really excited about the Miguel O'Hara 2099 Spidey. I think I have those comics still when they came out back in the 90s. The 2099 series came out. I love Spidey in all his forms, man. He was the first superhero I truly connected to. I read Superman and Batman, watched the comics and the Adam West and the old black and white Supermans and recognized them and understood them and respected them and loved following them, but just didn't connect until Spider-Man came out, and that's when I was like, this guy's speaking to me more or less. You know what I mean? I could understand his woes and problems because they were the same ones everyone deals with. Just a teenage kid. His only ability was that he's really intelligent. Other than that, he's a non-mutant. They used to say that. The non-mutant Spider-Man. He mutated because he was bit by a radioactive spider, not because he was born with the mutant genes like the X-Men characters are. Jeremy Renner, that's his name, Jeremy Renner. So, of course, remember on the deluxe, they also gave you a little name sticker, so you can put Ronin on there. Someone had told me that theirs came without the name sticker, and I don't remember what their resolution was on that and how they got that resolved. Also, if I remember correctly, on the Ronin one, I had to put this sash on him to hold his quiver, or actually on Ronin it's his sheath for his saber. So it's nice to see that this is already on here, because that was a bit of a task, if I remember correctly, trying to figure out exactly how they wanted it on there. And I don't expect to find a Ronin sticker in this one either. Saturday afternoon now, 3:10 p.m. out there in the UK. See, his next release is to Mark 85. Rumors. I was not really looking to buy Guardians of the Galaxy. $220. I can't beat that. Shipped, right? That's like a no-brainer. If you appreciate it, and going backwards, people will say he's not properly sized, etc., and he's not in comparison to what he is now. But in my opinion, as I have him here on his throne, he's going to stay on the throne, so you can't really see how big he really is. So it's just one of those things. Like, I know he's the wrong size, but sitting there, he still demands his presence. Don't put him next to an Infinity War or an Endgame Thanos, because you'll be like, whoa, what happened here? Got little buttons. I don't think I've ever had to replace any of these buttons ever on any of my figures yet. I hope I never do. We have 2 left hands. There's no glove on his left hand. And then 2 right-handed gloves. So, of course, if you were to buy the Ronin, the Deluxe, Hawkeye Deluxe, you would be able to display him as either Ronin or Hawkeye. And there's probably enough pieces in this to be able to do 2 figures as well. Kind of like with the Red Skull that came out 10 years ago or whatever it was. You could practically build 2 figures with that. One as the Red Skull with his coat, and one as the Red Skull in his gray uniform. If you really wanted to, a little bit of work. One with the Red Skull and one with the Hugo Weaving head sculpt as well. A few extra pieces would be all that would be required to do that. So we have 4 long shaft arrows, and then it appears, get my tweezers. See if these are all the same. Seven short shaft arrows. Make sure they're all the same. Yeah, 7 short shaft arrows, all of them with the fletching on them. The to go back to the AOU one, they actually gave you just shafts on some of them without any fletching on them whatsoever to fill in the spaces on this quiver to make it appear full. One of the advantages of buying 2 of those sets was that I was able to fill them in totally with arrows. So I have a lot more arrowheads on this piece than you would get normally, because it's doubled up. And I've just got it totally cram-packed in there. And so that's why I pose them backwards. I'm really proud of this quiver that I was able to assemble by buying the extra set of arrowheads. The whole collection, the whole AOU arrow setup. Normally what would go in here would just be some of the blank, just the shafts. No fletching on them, no arrowhead on them, just a straight up shaft. So I'll show you this open up here. Really proud of this, actually. Turned out really good. There's one side of it. So you see you've got 6 with fletching on it, but there's like 10 arrowheads, shafts and arrows on that. And here's the other side, same thing, 6 fletched arrows, and then 10 arrowheads on that. And like I said, normally they would just give you just the straight up shafts without the arrowheads on the end of it. And I shoved them all in there, every single one. So we'll keep this open so we can have a look at these, see if there's any different arrowhead in here. Tuesday, nice. I know you're excited about that save on your villain collector, and heck yeah, as far as that goes, that was the question that I had. How many Thanos do I really need? I have, the Guardians of the Galaxy, I have the Infinity War, and the Endgame Thanos. I didn't get the battle damage Endgame Thanos, which comes with the hand, whatever else, and I struggle, man. I struggle. It's so difficult. I mean, what is he selling for now? Close to $400 or something like that. It's insane, and with so many figures dropping so quickly now, $300 a pop on the average. 250 is, some of them are around $200, some of them around $400, which gives you a $300 average. It's such an expense in regards to that it gets to the point where you're like, God, enough is enough. But man, that fourth Thanos really looks really good. It's really tempting. I end up having them pass on so many figures. Like I really want the Michelle from Far From Home. It's made by, I forget, it's a third party. And then there's a new Ned Leeds that's made, and I guess the Doc Ock from Spider-Man is shipping now, and the female Venom, and all these other figures that I just don't have the money to bring into the collection, which I really want in the collection because they belong to figures that are, pardon me, figures that are already here. I really need a Michelle to go with Tom Holland. Ned Leeds, come on, that's his buddy. If they continue on the story, where Ned Leeds is going, we're going to be getting the Hobgoblin, the Green Goblin, Hobgoblin. Ned Leeds becomes the Hobgoblin. So Markendale. The only thing I had a problem with, I had a problem with a lot of things over the new Sony telling of Tom Holland, but Betty Bryant was one of Peter's girlfriends. Well, kinda. And what we had was Gwen Stacy was the blonde, Betty Bryant was the brunette, Mary Jane was the redhead, and then of course Felicia Hardy with her white hair. And in the movies now, they've made Betty Bryant with blonde hair, and they've made Michelle with black hair, and it just got it all messed up. And it's so petty from one viewpoint, but from another viewpoint, it's like, come on, that was the whole thing. He's got the brunette, the blonde, the redhead, and Felicia Hardy with her crazy white hair. And it's just as I don't know. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Alternate universes, though, which I'm cool with that. Really enjoyed the Into the Spider-Verse universe, where they really explained that. Hell, they can bring a Spider-Ham into the universe. Go for it, right? So let's see, what do we have here? I think I see a new one. I might be mistaken. No. Oh, wait, what is, oh, no. I was mistaken. Let's look over here at these. What's that little short one? I think there's a new one here. Let it back over here again. I see a little short one here that I don't see. Oh no, there it is. No, nothing new. Same assortment of arrowheads. Exact same assortment of arrowheads. Not as many of them, obviously. Maybe it is as many of them as came originally. But the same arrowheads. No difference. Might be a different color, different sheen in that regards to them. It's the same cutouts though. Exact same cutouts. So nothing new there. Okay, and what they've done to make the quiver appear full. Let's see if this comes apart. They've put some arrowheads down at the bottom of it. See that? Which is going to give you the appearance of it being more full than it is, or than what you can stack in there. And this might not be designed to come apart. I don't want to pull on it and break it if it isn't. Looks like you just toss those in there. It's going to be fun if your figure ever falls off the shelf. believe we've emptied the box there. These are going to go into a drawer, so I don't need this. I'm going to put it right back into the box, seal it up, put it in this brown shipper, and put that into the garage. Literally put that in backwards. No, I didn't. All right. I'd rather have 7 or 8 random Hot Toys. He decided to focus his collection on video game Spider-Man. Hey, it's a guy after my heart. Now I have to find Scarlet Spider for a good price. Hopefully I can get it by Christmas. I bought 2 Scarlet Spiders. First off, I bought them because the video game was a little bit different than what the comic Scarlet Spider was. And Scarlet Spider was one of absolutely my favorite creation of an alternate Spider-Man, in my opinion, that they'd already ever had. So I bought him originally to make him appear more like the comic as that goes. But then I decided I'm not going to do that after I'd opened them up and realized it's going to be a little more work than I wanted to get involved in, because the foot is part of the entire suit. It doesn't come off, which is better. I'd rather that way anyhow, truthfully. Because if I remember correctly, the comic Spider-Man didn't have the split toe shoe on him. And his sweatshirt that he wore was ripped and jagged instead of sewn up. He literally ripped the sleeves off, if I remember correctly from the comics. And that was what my intention was. So when I first bought him, I had him for sale, the second one, just to get rid of him. And nobody wanted to buy him. 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 And I was bored. I opened him up, put him on display. But I'd be interested in getting rid of him. If you want, let me know. PM me, and we can discuss it. If you are so inclined. Just to throw that out there. I love having 2 of them, but I really don't need 2 of them, because I'm not going to make any alterations to them whatsoever. So I would be willing to pass him on to you. PM me and we'll discuss price if you're interested. Shameless plug. Didn't put that in the box, did I? Jeez. So another Darth Maul was announced night before last or something like that. And another Stormtrooper. I think it's so funny when some of the collectors get so angry when they announce another Hot Toy Iron Man or a Hot Toy Spider-Man. They're like, why are you making so many Iron Man and Spider-Man? Give us this Star Wars figure. Give us that Star Wars figure. And I'm thinking, do you know how many Stormtroopers you have? Or do you realize how many Batmans have already been made? There's just a lot of them of everything. Just calm down and relax. Hot Toys doesn't build all the ones we want either. So Iron Man collectors are pretty tired of waiting for Hot Toys to finish up our House Party Protocol or to give us the rest of the Iron Legion. Sometimes they just don't make figures for no reason whatsoever. And thank goodness for third-party customizers who make figures like the tank here. Sheesh. I guarantee you Hot Toys will never make that. Hot Toys slept on Cable. Third-party company made a pretty decent one. Same thing with Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy, right? Hot Toys doesn't get with the program and start being a little more, where's the instruction manual? Being a little more forthcoming on what they got planned, they're going to miss out. Someone's going to spend $200 on Cable or $200 on Miles Morales or $200 on Spider-Gwen. And then when Hot Toys tries to sell the exact same figure for $250, they're going to be like, what's the point? I already bought a really good version of it from a third-party reseller in the first place. You snooze, you lose, Hot Toys. They don't tell us nothing. And all of a sudden they just just throw it right in our face. Sure, I understand corporate espionage and keeping your secrets safe and whatever else, but come on, man. The only people you're really hiding it from is the end user collector. Us guys, we're totally blind to it. Everybody and their brother already knows what you're making out there that is involved in the manufacture of the toys. So, no secret there. Jamie Foxx coming back to play. Really? I haven't seen Alexio's character design in the movie. Electro, wait a minute, Electro. Oh yeah, from He was he Electro? Or was he the Shocker in the movie? Was he Electro? But yeah, that'd be cool if Jamie Foxx did that. He was such. It's another one of those movies that just was. I don't know. I picked up the Electro figure for $50, brand new, from Big Bad Toy Store, and I love it. I have it over here, and I'm very pleased to have it. And I think that'd be awesome if Jamie Foxx was able to redo the figure, blue or not. Doesn't make a difference to me. And of course, in the comics, he's not blue. Was Electro in the new Spider-Man movies? I know Shocker was. That character before he became Electro, but I also think that this character in the comics looks kind of goofy. Yeah, he did with his the face mask or whatever that he wore. Hey, that was a goofy time back in the 60s when these characters were created. I mean, hell, Spider-Man's outfit, if I remember correctly, originally was like his pajamas that he turned into his suit, literally. I think that's the story in the comics. I like this little crossbow that Hawkeye has on his arm. Of course, as Ronin, we didn't display that. I keep, oh my goodness. Spider-Man game made him look interesting. He had electric burns in that shape on his face instead of a mask. Oh, that's cool. I didn't buy a PlayStation. I bought a PlayStation. I bought many PlayStations in the past. I didn't buy any of the newer PlayStations. I think the last PlayStation I bought was PlayStation 2. And maybe the 3. No, I think I had the 3. And I just don't have the time to play these video games anymore. But man, I really want to play the new Spider-Man. My wife's born and raised in New York City. Well, actually on Long Island, a little suburb of New York City. So of course she's very familiar with New York City. I've been to New York City many times. Love New York City. It's always been a beautiful city. And they did a really great, faithful reproduction of the city in the video game. And so you kind of get to go sightseeing as you play it. And of course, Spider-Man's my guy. So I'd love to have that as well in that regards. So I don't have any knowledge of playing the game, any of the features that are available. And I've just done the research on the characters that they made and just so super excited about them, especially because we're getting all of these characters that were so loved and remembered from the comics, recreated, as you as well explained, sometimes in a little bit different design than the comics, maybe updated, and then new ones like this Antioch suit and the advanced suit Spider-Man. Really, the Antioch and the advanced suit Spider-Man are the same suit, just different color scheme. So that company got to design their own Spider-Man suit, which has never been in a comic, which is cool also. But yeah, I will buy every single one of those Spider-Man. And I guess there's a new game, and I guess there was a game before this also that had a bunch of suits as well. But this one has, from my understanding, the most accurate reproduction of New York City ever, from my understanding. So here's the head sculpt. By the way, in case you're curious how well they did on that. And Hot Toys has just been knocking that out of the park lately. They really just do a great job bringing these likenesses of these actors. And that's the beautiful thing about 1/6 scale collecting. A lot of the 1/12 scale figures are starting to get some really good looking figure recreations. And there's companies out there that are making some really nice 1/12 scale. But 1/6 scale, truthfully, is going to give you the most detail in a manageable size. You can go quarter scale, third scale, and you get larger and larger, which is going to be greater detail, etc. But then a lot of things come into play. First off, they don't even make enough 1/6 scale figures. 1/12 scale figures are going to be the absolute most. If you need a lot of figures, if you're like doing army building or you just want to have a mess of figures, the 6-inch 1/12 scale figures, that's the way to go. They're going to make every single figure, every single character out there is going to be made in a 1/12 scale. 1/6 scale, like we were just talking about, we don't get them all. For whatever reason, they don't manufacture every single character, or there's no such thing as really as army building. So that's why it's surprising to see so many stormtroopers continually coming out. Because you do get the chance to do army building, but you get the detail, the likeness, the quality, the workmanship, the realization is beautiful in this. And I don't believe, truthfully, anything smaller is going to give you such an amazing likeness in that. So it's a manageable size, it's a popular size, or well, it's been made popular again. Hell, Barbie's always been popular in that size. She's kind of a 1/6 scale size as well, even though she's not anatomically correct at all, whereas the Fison figures are. But the 1/6 scale is where it is, especially if you want a really good recreation or likeness of the figures, the characters in your figure. Can't wait to see Spider-Man. Miles Morales has Hot Toys from his game. Oh yeah, that's going to be cool. So what do we do with his knife? Well, we're not going to be displaying his knife at all. We're going to be displaying him holding his arrow, his bow and arrow here. So I don't think we put the knife in here. This knife will just go right back into storage. I think we just put this sheathed knife in here, just like we did on Ronin. So put that into the back pocket there. And same thing, we won't be displaying any of these shurikens as Hawkeye. Arrow quiver going to be attached to the back of the figure, and the crossbody belt dagger sheath can be attached to the calf. And they just get right into the quiver. So I'm assuming it does not come apart. Interesting. This instruction manual has the Ronin instructions on it as well. So they didn't print a different instruction manual. They just show, if you got Hawkeye, you get these pieces. If you got Ronin, you get these pieces. That's interesting. Especially because 2 different MMS numbers. Interchangeable arrowheads, both A and B can accept them. So they're saying the short shaft arrows are the ones you put in the quiver, and the long shaft arrows are the ones you put if you're posing him with his arrow in his arm, his bow in his hand. You use the long shaft arrows. So I find it interesting that they give us so many long shaft arrows, unless you're trying to do one of his multi-arrow shots. Or if you needed to fill up your AOU quiver. So there you have it. Right there, they talk about the movement ability of the figure, which is always a question. And the suit is loose enough that I don't think there's going to be a binding of the suit to keep you from posing him in those poses based off of the percentages or the degrees that they claim that you can put him into. He's got ankle pivot, which is nice. Seems pretty solid in the movement. Butterfly shoulder. Huge neck adjustment there. Let's get this piece of plastic off at this neck. Head's attached to the neck. By the way, the head and neck are not separate. Stands up well on his own, which is nice if you're not, using the display stands. A lot of times posing them without a display stand looks so natural and so well. If you have a figure that'll stand on his own, do that. Especially if you have him in a closed environment, such as a Detolf, where you don't have to worry about him falling out onto the floor. But when you're using open shelving, sometimes it's better to still use something to hold on to him, just in case, especially if you live in an earthquake-prone zone. If you live in a tornado-prone zone, ain't nothing going to hold your figure in place. If a tornado comes around, you're just in trouble. Hate to say it. What are they showing here? Use indicated hands to hold the bow and arrow. First, pull the bowstring and hold it by hands as shown. Then attach arrowheads to the arrow, complete as shown. Now, I don't know what these arrows on the arrow is supposed to be. You put these two little like warning arrows on there. You see that? They're pointing to the arrowhead and the shaft where it comes up to the bow. And I don't know what that's supposed to be warning you of. It doesn't say. There's nothing indicating that means anything. Maybe it means the arrowhead can pop off. I have no idea. This is about taking the vest on and off so you can put the Ronin jacket on. Taking the arm bands on and off so you can put the Ronin forearm guards on. The hood. the attachment for the sheath for the sword and the dagger and the shuriken. So really, the back page is, for the most part, essentially just Ronin. So in all actuality, the front page is all that you have that is in regards to posing your Hawkeye figure, the accessories and attachments that are necessary. Everything else really is for Ronin, which they don't give you enough pieces in the non-deluxe version to build Ronin. So we're definitely going to be putting this hand on here. You know, trying to remember in the Soul Ghost scene, Red Skull, if he had to draw his arrow at all during that entire interaction with Black Widow and the Red Skull. I'm going to put his arrow and his bow in his hand anyhow. They don't give you a collapsed bow. So there's no like stored bow. I think you could collapse this bow on the AOU, but they don't give you a collapsed bow here. You know, we see him, you know, shake the bow into full size. So I don't know what in that regards. One thing I always recommend, if you have like hands that have the posts like really lodged into them, just leave them there and use the extra set that they give you to put in the other hands. If you can get them out pretty easy, go ahead and do that. But if you have to use effort, it's just not worth it. I mean, one day you may want to put this in there and it's already set up. You got an extra piece. And I think that's where we are on this. And I'm just going to leave this in here. I'll open this up and put it for my other hand. It's so much easier than fighting with this. And it's in there, so you don't have to worry about it falling out or whatever. You know what I mean? I wish I knew exactly how high up this is supposed to be. Of course, Hawkeye is a lefty. Or I don't know if Hawkeye is a lefty or if Jeremy Renner is the lefty, but the MCU Hawkeye is a lefty. Do any of y'all, you know, if Hawkeye from the comics is a lefty or a righty? Or is he ambidextrous? Speaking of ridiculous uniforms, Hawkeye from the comics. Boy, this shoulder sure is difficult to get up in order to get a good pose here. You have to finagle him to get him around to where we need him to be. These boots are huge compared to ALU boots. I wonder if they're the same size. Pretty close. Pretty close. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. I got my 29 Spider-Man the other day. I got my hologram version Mark IV. Hot Toys showed us that figure like way back in the day. I mean, like close to 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, and they called it the testing version. They made two of them, testing version 1 and testing version 2. The red and gold was the version 1, and the blue and green was version 2. And they showed it off at shows and whatnot, and never made one. There's a collector out there, Terrence T, I think is the name he goes by on Facebook, and from Singapore, who has had those versions made for his private collection. Just can't get this arm up here how I want it. I don't know what's going on here. So it's pretty cool that they did this. One thing I find interesting on that holographic Mark IV is they've put die-cast pieces into it, kind of like how they did with Hulkbuster to reinforce it, but they didn't call it a die-cast figure. I think that's because on the die-cast figures, the thighs are metal, and on this one, the thighs are plastic on the holographic one. I've not taken it out of the box yet, but I'm almost positive it had to be plastic. We don't have transparent aluminum, right? Star Trek. So there's no transparent metal yet. But I find it interesting that they don't call it a die-cast figure. Put this quiver back together and get it back on here in AOU. AOU. So if you have an Age of Ultron Hawkeye, and you have this Hawkeye, you can stuff your quiver full now with the extra arrows, shafts, and arrowheads that came with this Hawkeye. So now, which arrowhead do we want to put on here? I had a Ant-Man arrow someplace. Was he on this? He fell off? Oh man, I hope not. No, he wasn't. He was. What did I do with him? I must have put him in the box, but I got a little Ant-Man that sits on the arrow, if you remember from Civil War. I didn't get the Civil War Hawkeye. That was back in the time when my thought was, I don't need every single Hawkeye that they made. I just need one to show he's an Avenger. I don't need all the Black Widows. I just need one to show he's an Avenger. I don't need all the Captain Americas. I need just one to show he's an Avenger. Oh boy. Now it's like, oh my God, I have to buy all the Captain Americas. I have to buy all the Hawkeyes. I have to buy all the Black Widows. It's funny how that evolves. I don't, I don't even know if I want to put any arrowheads on this. Let's see how far this goes without any arrowheads on it in the quiver. I'm not going to put any arrowheads on it at all. I'm just going to put one arrowhead on the arrow that he's drawing back on the bow. Hmm. Let's see these three long ones. Don't like it. I wish I had more arrows in here though. Looking at that guy thinking, I bet you I got more arrows for him. Let's go with this really cool, this big arrowhead on here. See how that works. Whoa, 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 whoa. We've got, need to move this forward to his cheek. That's where you're supposed to draw to, right? Now supposed to draw all the way back there. So you can sight it. Let's get this shoulder going here. So we have bicep swivel, but the shoulder should also be moving. A lot of resistance here. It doesn't feel like it's the material of the vest. It very well may be. I don't know why I'm having such difficulty getting his arm up here. What the hell? I'm trying to. There we go. There we go. Now we've got his elbow up, probably a little bit too high now, or his shoulder up, I mean. Now we got him up. Probably a little too high. I think it'll work. Of course, he doesn't have to cite it. I mean, he can just draw and right. He showed us that in Avengers, didn't he? Battle of New York. I always thought it was funny in Age of Ultron when Quicksilver and him were having their banter, and there's this scene that literally was ad libbed into the movie when I don't remember what Quicksilver had said to him, called him an old man or something, and ran off, and Jeremy Renner drew on him, and he goes, "No one would even know. He just died. I don't know what happened to him or whatever. I could just shoot him." It was just so funny that he was saying that, and that wasn't even part of the script, and it worked so well with that banter that they kept it in. I loved that. I don't think I'm going to go with this arrowhead after all. And put this between his fingers. On the ALU, the fingertips are right next to each other, so you can't put the arrow between the fingers, like where you would really hold it. But on this one, you can. So you can slide it right between his fingers and stick it on the string, or just between his fingers, either way. Maybe I will just leave that arrowhead on there. Hence the reason for this Elmer's glue to hold them in place. Yeah, you can put this right between his little fingers there, which is great. And that works well. I think that works really well. Now, it's not totally resting on there, so I'm going to have to finagle with this a bit to get it just how I want it. Move his arm around a bit to get it just how it needs to be. But I think that'll fit well. I might change the arrowhead up a bit. And I don't know whether or not, again, posing him backwards would be the preferred way. Now, where I have him currently at the AOU, you can't see him backwards. I actually have him posed this way because I have him with the Avengers fighting Ultron in the little base there. So you can't see his quiver how I have him currently posed. But then again, also on the same side of the coin, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with this guy yet. I really want to pose him with Black Widow down here with the Soul Ghost, because that's the story that I want to be able to recreate here with that as such. I like also in Avengers when Black Widow and Hawkeye are fighting side by side against the Tatari soldiers, and Black Widow says something to the effect of, "Gosh, this is just like Budapest," and he says, "You and I remember Budapest very differently." They've always had that remark or that comment about the past that they have that we don't know much about at all. So I hope we get some of that story explained to us or told us more in the upcoming Black Widow movie, whenever that actually comes out. So we got going on over here in chat. Can't wait to see Spider-Man models, right? And character models are so detailed, and like I'm pretty sure they can do head scopes at this point. They can even change Spider-Man's face, capture actor in the remaster. I've seen that they were saying that the new head sculpt. I bought the Peter Lim version of the PS4 Spider-Man head sculpt and have it on the advanced suit over here. But yeah, I guess they've changed it now to make it a little more, I don't know, more Tobey Maguire-ish or Tom Hollandish, or I couldn't tell you. Because right now he kind of looks like a combination of all the above. He kind of resembles a Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland-ish. And I guess they've changed it in the new one, as you were saying, the remastered version. So I don't know what I think about that. I don't have the game to be able to comment as to whether it's good or bad or indifferent. But it is amazing how much detail is able to be made in these. If I were to continue posing him as such, I would definitely have to get this arrow straight and level. Pointed down isn't going to work. This arm is definitely going to have to come up some in order to be able to get it to where I want it. But I have a feeling I'm probably not going to be posing him with his bow at the ready. I'm not sure. I really need to re-examine the movie to see what it is that I want to do with him. I know where I want to pose him. I want to pose him with my Soul Ghost with Black Widow. And we're doing Black Widow next week. We'll be unboxing her. So we'll get those guys together at that point. Let me get my drawer of Hawkeye over here. Yeah, here's the arrowheads from AOU, and they are silver, more silver or lighter colored than the in-game arrowheads are. I may have discussed that on the last video, but they're definitely lighter colored. And again, these were the little boxes that they came in. And, you know, the foldable bow as well. And here's all the shafts with no fletching on them. I was hoping that there was like fletching to fill up this quiver, but there's not. I've got Cantaloupe going through my head from, I'm not sure if you say Us 3 or US 3. You ever heard that song? Pretty cool song. Ah, 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 ha, 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 ah, ha, 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 from my Ronin. Yay! Oh, and here's my little Ant-Man. Don't know if that'll focus on him, but there he is. You can see him there. We can stuff the quiver. give him more than 6 arrows to go into battle with. I think Jeremy Renner made a joke about the 12 arrows that he went into Battle of New York with. He did run out, didn't he? The Battle of New York. Took him up with 12. There we go. Now he's got a nice full quiver instead of just 6. My LU longer shafts and unfletched shafts. Going through my boxes, I've got all kinds of arrows. I'm going to need to track down a Civil War and Avengers Hawkeye. No doubt about it. Of course, you remember these arrows from AOU, right? So I got notification that my 2 new Fisons are coming also. So I don't know if I'm going to do a separate week on those of talking about the size of the new ones that are coming in. 2 more Fison figures, dolls, bodies, just bodies. Don't remember which numbers they are. But I'll definitely go over them. I might stack them onto the back of something. I figured it doesn't take long to go over. For instance, like this Hawkeye didn't take more than an hour, really, to go over him. Some of the figures take 2 hours. We're able to go right through this one pretty quickly. Especially because we already went over him with Ronin over here. Let's see what we got going on in chat. So I'm about done with the unboxing. We can discuss anything else, figures that are in the room, whatever you guys have got going on, some of your kit bashing that you're working on. I think we're about done here. I was thinking about buying more Detoffs. For real, I've got Deadpool now here stacked up. The Deadpool shelf is totally full. Spider-Man's going to be filled up with the $29.99 that I have now already as it is. On these Detoffs, in my opinion, the most figures you really want to put on a shelf, I mean the absolute most that you really want to put on a Detoff shelf is 3. And the least, the better, truthfully. Anything over 3, it just becomes very crowded. And you want the light to be able to move through them. So for instance, like on my shelves over here, I mean, I've just got them stacked in there, literally right on top of each other. And that's not a good way to be able to showcase your figures. I mean, you put so much money and time into them, You want to be able to show them off. So that's the beautiful thing about a dead-off, is you are given that opportunity to show off your figures, and it just doesn't seem that any more than 3 works well. So I literally have currently 12 figures in these 2 dead-offs. I've got 6 of them over here because this shelf needs to be worked on still. I need to cut that. I just haven't got around to it. I don't have a table saw, and I need to be able to cut it absolutely totally straight to make sure that the light passes through the panel properly. Because if it's jagged or warped or not in a straight line, it's not going to work well, and it needs to be perfect. I really need to get. I need to use a table saw. I don't have a table saw in order to be able to saw that perfectly straight. So I just have the cardboard sitting there on the dead-off. You can see the cardboard there. So I've got the 6 figures stacked up over here. And with the 29.9 that I have, it's going to be 7 figures. I've got to find a way to put him in there. So I wanted to get another dead-off. That's all there is to it. I moved my Hulkbuster down. I don't know if you can see him up here. You should be able to. Because I put the extra War Machine Hall of Armor up there. So we have an empty one now in anticipation of the Iron Patriot that'll be coming. The Iron Patriot will go with the Avengers, and the War Machine Mark 6 will then go up there. So I've moved that all around. Totally moved that shelf about. What have we got going on over here? So I put my arcade games down here. They used to sit up here where the Hulkbuster is. And I just have them sitting down over here, the 1/6 scale Centipede and 1/6 scale Tempest. And the Mark IV hologram will probably go up here with the Holy Grail shelf, where I used to also have the Mark III gunmetal. So now I have the Mark III Stealth, the Mark IV Secret Project, Mark IV Neon, the Mark VI regular, and the Mark VI Neon, and then the Mark VII shelf there. So the Mark IV hologram will go there. And when the Mark 47 comes, which I haven't been told of its pending shipment, but I've got that coming, he will go over here with the Avengers shelf, and the 46 will come over here with the 43, the 45, and the 46 concept, and the 2 Tonys. And that will be that. Oh, and I moved my Mandarin down here, so I have Mandarin and Stan Lee on the same shelf together, seated. Stan Lee in his director's chair and the Mandarin in his throne, if you will. Phil Coulson's only here temporarily. I had to move him out of the way in order to get Ronin off of the shelf. But yeah, I need a Deadpool dead-off. So I need to buy 2 more dead-offs. One for Spider-Man, because we got a bunch more Spider-Man figures coming. I mean, a bunch more in the next year and a half. But my Deadpool's totally outgrown his shelf. He's outgrown his shelf a long time ago. I literally have on the Deadpool shelf there now 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 12-inch figures. And 1, 2, 3, well, okay, 8 12-inch figures, 1 6-inch figure, but he's Deadpool Kid or Kid Deadpool. So he's a 1/6 scale. So I have 8 12-inch figures, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 smaller figures, still 1/6 scale, and then 2 more 12-inch figures, and then Juggernaut. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. In rule of 3, by the way, Juggernaut's going to take a shelf all by himself. So Juggernaut would be on a shelf, and I guess all the shorter ones would be on a shorter shelf, because Juggernaut would take up more than the Deadpool shelf. Have to raise the shelf and then have a shorter shelf in between that. They'll put all the smaller ones on. So that'd be possibly one Deadpool with him. So that'd be 1 shelf. Probably get all these little ones on the shelf. That'd be 2 shelf. And then 3 shelf, 4 shelf, 5 shelves just for the Deadpools. It's 5 shelves right there. Let alone anything else that I'd want to do with the Deadpool. So that's 2 Detolfs just for the Deadpools. So gosh, I need to buy 3 more Detolfs. Or actually buy 2 more Detolfs for the Deadpools, because he's going to take up 5 shelves, right? And then I can start putting the Spideys on there as well. Jeez. It's the reason it's taking me so long to buy a Detolf, because they're under $100, is because these figures just keep coming, and when you're spending this money on figures, you don't have money to spend on this. So it's like, okay, do I buy camera equipment? Do I buy a new computer? Do I buy lights? Do I buy software? Do I buy a figure? Do I buy a display case? There's only so much you can do. And, the big fear is whenever you get a figure that you ended up passing on for whatever reason. Most time it's because of money. And then it becomes like a sought after figure. And then you're in trouble because you can't get the gosh darn thing. And it becomes a holy grail. Where it ends up costing you $800 when you could have bought it originally for $200. And those figures are far and few in between. The majority of figures will never be more than what you've ever paid for it. In all actuality, once you're paying your shipping and your PayPal fees and your eBay fees and all the other stuff that it costs you to sell a figure, you really don't end up making out in that regards on the regular figures that are readily available or nobody wants, if you know what I mean. So you end up collecting filler pieces that don't ever really make you any money, ever. And then when you end up selling a figure that you can get for $800, you get backlash from some of the collectors. How dare you scalp that for $800? You know what? F you. I have it. They want it. They're going to have to pay $800 for it if they want it. Otherwise, I'm not getting rid of it. That's how it works. And that's why it's $800 in the first place. So that's how that goes. But no, I guarantee you, like all my Iron Man figures, the majority of them will never be worth anything more than what they were paid for originally. Some of them probably even worth less, because as they sat on the shelves at the retailers, they were taking money off of them and selling them for $10, $20, $50 less. In the case of Electro, $50 is what I paid for them. So it makes it real difficult to try to convince somebody who bought the figure and paid $200 for them originally, to then be able to sell it for $200, which is what they got into it, because collectors paid a lot less in some instances for it. Mark 17 and Mark 33, same thing, sat on a shelf forever and a day. They just got devalued so much in that regards. Chitauri soldiers, same thing. I think to this day, you can still buy brand new Chitauri soldiers. Brand new Chitauri soldiers. So what do you guys got going on? Anything? Nothing? I think I've just been rambling on about stuff and junk and whatever else. Still got my pod to make. I've still got my crossbones to finish up. Still got my land speeder, which is just sitting here. Still got my Monaco GP style race car down there. Still got my Doctor Strange arms of Icarus, or whatever they were called. Hands over here. I have no place to put Thor and Hulk. You need just a huge room just to be able to display everything. I love my collection. It's calming, and it's a place of reflection. Come out here and relax and just be surrounded in my figures, and I can just sit here and just take time and just admire each one of them for a few moments, and then move on to the next one and just look at it and have a memory from a movie or a scene come to my mind, and move on to the next one, repose them, move them around. I take great joy and pleasure in my collection, but it definitely has cost me more money than I would ever recoup out of it. I really have that belief. I don't think for 1 second that I would ever make the money back that has been invested in these figures as such. They bring me joy. I don't buy cigarettes. I don't have big dogs that require hundreds of dollars of food a month. So this is my addiction, if you will. And I have you guys. And I really appreciate all of you and the time you spend with me. Thank you very much. It's nice to chat with you and to learn about you guys. I appreciate every one of you. I really do. I love you guys. When are you getting your new Iron Man Mark 47? I've not heard. I don't remember who I bought that from, whether I bought it from Sideshow or Big Bad Toy Store. But the ones that are coming, that I know that are coming, although I've not been told they were coming, are, let's see if I can pull that up. This computer is so, I hate this computer. Let's see if I can open up my file that keeps track of the figures I've got coming. Because really I have like confirmed coming. For instance, the only one now that's still confirmed coming is the two Fisons. So I've actually received notification from the retailer that they're on the way, etc., etc. FedEx will be delivering them. And then, of course, I have down here my Black Widow, my Rocket, my 2099 Spider-Man, and my Mark IV hologram. But I know, because other collectors have received their figures, that the Mark 47's coming, the Ant-Man's coming, the Wasp is coming. I think there's another one. I'm trying to get this to open up here. This computer. I guarantee it's a RAM issue that's going on with it. Come on, you stupid computer. I'm not going to be able to open up the file. But I don't know when they'll be here. There used to be a saying that you could say, that people said many years ago. They would say something like, coming over on a slow boat from China. And I don't know whether or not these figures are shipped via freight on a boat, or if they're shipped via freight on plane, or how they get over here from Asia in that regard, whether they're coming in a giant shipping container on a boat or not. But it takes literally, I can almost add 60 days onto anything that somebody from over there has in regards to receiving their figure. So, when the Mark 47 was made available in Hong Kong and China and wherever else, you can pretty much say 2 months from then is when I'll get mine. So however long ago that the first ones were being delivered or picked up or shipped or whatever, you can add 60 days to that, and that's when I'll get mine. And that's why people get so angry at, for instance, Toys Wonderland, who has two different prices on the figures that they sell. So they sell a figure on the get it now price, which means the day that it is released in Hong Kong or by Hot Toys or whatever, they're going to put it in a box and send it right to you. And you're going to get it today. And for YouTube creators that have 100,000 subscribers and are making thousands of dollars a month on YouTube, they can afford to pay the additional money to get that figure. And when they are unboxing it and they have 12,000 views of it, then of course they're going to get their money back. And then there's guys like me that wish they were making money on YouTube, and I get pennies. So, I get a check from YouTube, but it's nothing like that. I have to wait months for them to send a check to me, because they only send a check once you get $100 worth of YouTube income. And so it takes me months to collect $100 worth of YouTube income. So when I'm spending $300 on a figure and they're sending me a figure a week at $300 a pop, I mean, I'm popping out $1,200 a month on figures and getting like $30 a month from YouTube. So anybody that is so arrogant or so bullish that sits back there on your haunches and crosses your shoulders and says, I'm not paying anything for you. I'm not giving you anything for your Patreon. You make money from YouTube. I don't make money from YouTube. I'm spending money on these figures. I'm spending time with you guys. This all my time is investment because I enjoy the hobby. I'm not here making money. You know, I wish I was. I wish this was a money making venture, but it's not. I've not made money on any of this. You know, I get money. Like I said, YouTube sends me a check every 2 or 3 months for $100 that I earn from ad revenue, but it's not paying for the figures. No way is it paying for the figures. I mean, I've got, add them up. On the average, $300 a pop over 200 figures. Doesn't take long to do the math on that. Pushing $100,000 of figures here. I'm not making $100,000 a figure on YouTube. No way am I even close to that. So there's people that get angry at Toys Wonderland that charges an extra $50 or $75 to get a figure to you right now. But if you're a YouTube creator that is going to get 12,000 views on them unboxing the figure because they have 200,000 subscribers or whatever, then it's worth for them to pay the extra $50 to get the figure in hand 2 months before someone like myself who gets it the regular way to do it. So that's how that goes. You know, they claim it takes money to make money. I am so far in the hole to making money, it's not even funny. So I appreciate every one of you and everything you've ever done for me, because this literally is just a hobby and it's something that I enjoy as relaxation, and I enjoy sharing it with you. You know, many of you are just as lucky as I am and can afford to pick up 200 plus figures and continue to pay for them every week when they come out. Many of you are not. Many of you are very pleased and capable of having a dozen or 2 dozen figures, and that would probably be the extent of your collection ever. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I understand that. And I'm just happen to be in a position that I can spend them on this. I mean, I've got a brand new car sitting in here, essentially 2 or 3 cars is what I have in regards to Hot Toys figures, if you were to look at it in that manner, you know. And but no, I'm not. These figures are not free. Nobody's giving me these figures for free. YouTube isn't paying me huge money to do this videos. That's one of the reasons I kind of got frustrated for making, you know, all the professionally made unboxing videos, because I would spend, you know, an hour or two unboxing the figure, okay, then spend probably 20 hours in post-production on using my Adobe CS6 collection of software to edit the videos, and then uploading the videos, and the hours it takes to upload the video onto YouTube. It takes hours to upload a video, high quality video, 4K video up on YouTube takes hours. And I ended up spending between 20, 30, or sometimes even 40 hours just in production of a video for YouTube to give me 25 cents. And it just, I was like, God, this just isn't worth it. It isn't worth it spending all that time. So now I just spend a couple hours with you guys a week talking about what's going on, you know, and that seems to be what works for me. You guys have probably seen 6 or 7 videos of these figures by the time I finally get mine. A lot of you are a lot more well-versed in the knowledge of the figures. I try not to watch any of the other videos because I want to have a nice, fresh look at it, you know, be amazed and impressed and try to figure it out on my own. And then I'll watch some of the other videos afterwards to see, oh, okay, that's what that's for, or, oh, that's a good way of posing it, you know, in that regards, and then pose it up myself as such. But you know, it's just a tough thing. So no, there's no money being made here. And any one of you that want to be spiteful to me or whatever and say, well, I'm not going to give you $1 a month because you are getting these figures for free, or you make so much money that you don't need it. Hey, whatever. When you go to the restaurant and that waiter or waitress brings you your meal, and that's all they're doing is helping you place your order and clearing your table afterwards, and you drop them $2, $3, $4, $5, $10 or whatever for that work, they're already getting paid to do that in the first place. In California, the minimum wage for a waiter or waitress is the same as it is for everybody else. So when they're making $14 an hour or whatever in California, and you're paying them a $5, $10 tip for doing that, you're paying that waiter or waitress $25, $30, $40 an hour at that point to bring you a meal. Send me $1 a month to let me know that I'm worth it as well. That's all I'm asking for. So I do appreciate every one of you. I don't take any of you for granted. And I thank you very much for your time that you spend here with me. And my wife is happy to know that you guys are there, that you give a damn. You know, it really pleases me to see you. A lot of you have been with me for a long time, and I really appreciate that. It's good seeing the same names over and over again, and I enjoy that a lot. And it's nice seeing the new subscribers and people who've been here for the first time, and I appreciate that as well. So welcome to the channel if you're new. Click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications. You can definitely catch me here every Saturday. I think there's only been 2 or 3 Saturdays that I've not ever been here after starting these Saturday events. And like I said, I have a Patreon account, www.patreon.com/Siri Emerald, and I've got nothing to give you. I'm already giving away everything that I can to Hot Toys to get these figures. But if you want to subscribe to me for $1 a month or whatever, I would love it very much, and I would gladly shout your name from the rooftops to let everyone know that you're a Patreon if you'd like to hear that as well. I read the chats. I've replied to just about every single comment I've ever gotten on a YouTube video. So I'm reachable, touchable. You can reach out to me on Facebook Messenger. I'm really trying to stay away from social media because it's so toxic. It's gone from people sharing their thoughts and ideas with friends and loved ones and people that enjoy, to just being a hateful thing now. Social media has just become, it's hateful. It's so toxic. I'm so sick and tired of social media. I really am. We've turned into a world of hate now. We can't wait to troll on somebody and just destroy them and take pleasure in that. I'm just steering totally clear from Facebook and all that, but I can be reached through there. So I mean, I'm reachable in that regards. The claw figure looks amazing. Another one that I missed out on because I just don't have the money to get them. Had a few videos, didn't get any money on them, but it's cool. Yeah, exactly, and that's where I'm at too. There's no money making going on here. I'm happy that I do get some money. I've been making videos religiously since 2015. Religiously. I mean, every week making videos. And so over 5 years at this point of making videos just to get $100 every 3 months or something, you know? And how could that even be a business plan that you can even go to the bank on? I'd like you to give me a loan so I can start a business. Okay, great. What do you expect you're going to be making? Oh, in 5 years' time, I expect to generate an income of $25 a month. But in all actuality, it's going to cost me probably $1,500 a month to be in business. So can I get a check for $100,000? The bank is going to laugh you out of your chair. They're going to kick you out of there for being insane. So no, there's no business going on here. But it sure is funny because when Google sends me that money or YouTube sends me that money, they also turn it right into the IRS, and IRS taxes that. And so they're like, okay, so you just made $500 last year or whatever. We are requiring 30% of that in taxes. So you need to give us 150 of that. So you get to keep $350 because you have to pay your taxes on that $500 that you made. So add that up. Adpocalypse. Yeah, that's what changed everything. There's been several adpocalypses in the last 6 years. Guy, you show anything they find. Yeah, like, I've been banned from YouTube for I went 30 day. I went on a 30-day hiatus. They literally kicked me out of YouTube for 30 days. They've removed videos that I've made. It's crazy. How's it going there? I don't know how to read your name. TV High. The helmet collection. The helmet collection. Mark Five. The helmet collection. I'm not sure I follow you. Well, what happened with that was evidently when you are a creator, if you go back and watch your video, if you don't skip the ads or block the ads, then they feel that you are trying to falsely draw ads from your video. So I make a video, I post a video, I get a comment on the video. So the video opens up and it will start playing. And along with it comes an advertisement. And you literally have to disable the ad, kick the ad, stop the ad, or close the ad out. And if you don't, then they know that you just played that ad on your channel. Now, let's say, for instance, it's the first time in your life you've ever seen that ad. Let's say, for instance, it's a commercial for a new movie that's coming out, or Dr. Squatch or whatever has a new commercial, and you're like, oh, I want to see this. And you're actually watching it because you're enjoying it. Because you're watching it on your video, they claim that you're trying to monetize yourself and cheating the system. So what they'll do that is literally for your first suspension is 30 days for that, and you will receive zero income on any of your videos for that time frame. And so it's crazy. And so you're not allowed to watch any advertisements or have any ads on your videos if you're on your video. And I understand that. I understand somebody that could possibly milk the system. But in all actuality, what YouTube pays is pennies per thousands of views or slash actually clicks. So in order to get paid, you get 2 cents per thousand clicks, clicks per mille, clicks per thousand, 2 cents, 2 cents per 1,000 clicks. So after 1,000 people click on an advertisement, you get 2 pennies. So in all actuality, in order to get 2 cents, if you're trying to milk the system, you got to watch 1,000 ads and actually click on them or let them play or whatever. So it's not like you're taking money to the bank. Trust me, it's not how it works. There's no real money being made here, for fact. That's an absolute fact. Yeah, Dr. Squatch has got some funny ass videos. Some funny ass videos, no doubt about it. They're quite shocking. So, anyhow, like I said, I'm here because this is my hobby, this is my passion, and this is my love. And I thought when I first started making the videos that money could be made here, and there's no money being made here. But now it's just a passion and a love, and I'm sharing it with you guys, and I appreciate having you guys. So I'm here with you guys because we're all one big happy family, in the community. I know Shartimus Prime, he is a friend of mine. I know Sean Long. I've spoke with Denobi on occasion. I know Denobi. I've never met him in person, but it's a tight knit group of that as well, and you guys also are part of all of that. And it's great to have these and collect these and to share these. And of course, we're talking about comic books, Marvel movies. So there's so many different elements here that tie this whole collection together. You know what I mean? And as well, just trying to keep up with Marvel, let alone if I tried to collect the DC universe as well, Superman and Batman and all of that, and the Star Wars universe also. My goodness, some of these guys that have all the Marvel figures, all the DC figures, all the Star Wars figures. I'm like, how in the hell are you doing that? I mean, if you were to divide the money that I have here over a 5-year period of time of collecting or so, um, you're looking at over $12,000 a month, a year in figures, just in Marvel. Now add to that, DC, and then Star Wars, and then any other uh, smaller group that they made or make, the Predator series, the Terminator series, the Alien series, the Halloween series. You start throwing that on top of that, you could be looking at $50,000 a year in expenses on these figures. So some of these collectors out there, man, I don't know how they have some of these collections. It's just beyond me. I mean, I worked my ass off to be able to buy these toys. I mean, I have a real job, and so this is literally money, like I said, that some people would spend on cigarettes or on a pet or something to that degree, or customizing a car or building a car. Everyone has their hobby, and this is mine. So I don't see how some of these guys are able to have all of those figures. Some of you get really angry at me. Oh, so all you collect is Marvel? I'm not even gonna waste my time. Hey, whatever. Sorry, I don't have the money to buy Star Wars figures and DC figures as well. So I wish I could get Michelle. I just don't have the money currently to get her. Like I said, I've got coming two Mark 47s, Ant Man and the Wasp. I know for a fact are coming. There's some other figures that are coming. I guarantee you they're going to be popping through here within the next 30 to 45 days, and so that's another 447s, and pushing $300 for the Ant Man and Wasp. So that's another 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 1,500 bucks. Like, I don't have. I would love to get the Michelle. I would love to get the female Venom. I would love to get the Claw. I would love to get Doc Ock. I would love to get the new Ned Leeds. All of these figures that I'm just having to skip on at this point until sometime later on the road where I'll be able to try to track them down and get them. It's just so difficult. We went. Used to be a figure would come out like once a month. Now they're coming out once a week. And on top of that, with all the third-party companies out there that are making them as well, shoot, there's like 8 figures a month now that are coming out. Golly, it's insane. Hey, Austin Powers is hilarious. After me, Lucky Charms. Life size working Auto King Mark V helmet cost me $305 with shipping from China. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Just buy the heads, bodies, clothes later. Kit bash them. Hell yeah. A lot cheaper. You can get heads. I would say on the average, Hot Toys heads are about $40 or $50 a pop. Yeah, $300 for that helmet. Jeez. I bet it looks good. My goodness. Yeah, save a lot of money that way. Yeah, I bet that helmet looks good. I've seen a lot of one-to-one creations on that. I've seen a lot of people that have made Iron Man suits and whatnot. Wow, that's insane and crazy to be able to do that and craft that. Who makes the one-to-one head? Auto King? Is that the company that makes it? 100 bucks for naked. Right. People that kit bash the figures, they buy them. Well, not the people that kit bash figures. The people who dismantle the figures and sell them pieces is where you would get those from. That's how I bought the arrows for the AOU Ultron. I bought feet and hands and helmets for my Iron Man figures in that manner, and you can only pretty much do that when the figure first comes out. So you got a handful of months, about 6 months it seems, that you're able to buy the pieces from figures from people who have bought the figures literally just to dismantle them, and they sell the feet and the legs and the bodies and the hands and all that just separate. And you can find them on YouTube. You can get the bases and everything, or I mean on eBay, and you can find them there. And so just as Robert's saying, you can build your figure up from there, kind of like how I did with my Johann Schmidt, in taking the pieces that came with the Red Skull to be able to display him either as Johann Schmidt or the Red Skull. And I made a Johann Schmidt, but it's because I bought the what did I buy? An extra pair of pants or something, and or the gray suit. I don't remember what it was, to be able to display him in the gray suit outside of the black coat. And then I just put the gray suit in the box. I don't think I'm using that anymore. But at one point, I was displaying him one in the gray suit and one in the gray suit and the black coat. The flight pod is still in its bag. I'm just not satisfied with anything that I've contemplated in regards to being able to fill this body cavity in order to stretch it out to the size that it needs to be in order to give it a proper width with everything. I've got to find something that I can put in here to spread this out just a bit. Some body filler that can also fill in the gap and can be painted as well. And I'm just not satisfied with anything that I've found out there so far. So he's just sitting here in the bag, and it's one of those projects that has just been put on the back shelf. I'll get it sooner or later, but it needs to be opened by about that much, and I need to be able to fill that with something, and then fill in this gap as well that's been created from that opening of the chest in order to get him proper as I need him to be in order for this piece to sit properly on the front. So that's what needs to be done in order to get him completed. So he needs to be filled out. This needs to be opened up. I'm just not pleased with anything that I've considered or examined to be able to do that with. I don't have an answer yet. Still working on that. But he will get done, which is nice because now I have been able to put my Mark 7 back again as a Mark 7 instead of the pod. But I'm missing not having my pod on display. I really like the pod. But I hated that they made the pod require an entire Mark 7 die-cast figure just to display. So they're all right here. Everything's in here to be able to do that. It will get done. This is all my crossbone pieces to be able to complete my crossbones from the AI doll version that they made. They didn't complete them out properly, so it's another project that I've got. Projects. Oh, and then of course I need to repaint all of the old original Iron Man figures where the pink panties have come through and on the panties and the gloves. I need to paint all those also. It's another project that needs to be done. I've got about 4 figures, I think, that have turned pink over time. And essentially all you do is you need to buy the Testors 25. I forget which color it is. It's in the other room. And just paint over it. You don't need to strip the paint off of it. You don't need to do anything other than that. You just buy this one specific paint can and just spray it onto it and it'll work perfectly. And as soon as I do that, I'll make a video showing how that's done as well for that, to repair all of the pink panties on the older Iron Man figures. Oh, nice. Ninjas. Cool. Yeah, the Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe. Is that Storm Shadow's from? So it's been about 2 hours now. So I'm going to wrap this up, I think. And, I'll be here next Saturday. I'll be doing Black Widow. She came without a brown shipper because she came straight from Hong Kong, China, wherever, through a retailer, but she's not been opened. So whenever you buy them, that way you don't get a brown shipper. So we're doing Black Widow next week. And then her and Hawkeye will be with Soul Ghost. So next week when we do her, we'll have Hawkeye and Soul Ghost up here too. And I'll have re-examined the video, the movie, to see how best I'm going to display Hawkeye for that. Like, subscribe, share this video, give it a thumbs up. All that helps. And for real, if you got $1 a month that you don't mind sending my way, I'd be happy to get it. Thank you very much. I love you very much if you would ever do that. I love you guys whether you send me anything or not. And speaking of send me stuff, I have a post office box as well. If you want to mail me anything at all, appreciate that. I've got a couple letters, correspondences from you guys, and it's nice to read that. Thank you very much. It's nice to be in touch with you guys. Love you guys. So I'm going to let you all go. And they have a 2-pack. Sarah Connor and John looks good. See ya, Toy Mafia. Thank you, baby. And $50 NECA. Nice. So I am going to let you guys go. And until next week, thank you very much. Peace out. And see you on the next video. Bye. Hack. Turn off.